then this field could exist, could not exist in certain object, could exist in certain object. So it does not really. There's nothing for Mango to tell me this is not a valid field. It's just going to return nothing. So, and sometimes, like this is a simple mistake that I just made, is I instead of doing a dollar sign all, I did all, and it was running fine, and I did not notice, but it will run, but it will not recognize this as as an operator, until I actually notice that it needs to be operator. So
will it error if your JSON's invalid?
Would it error if?
Like if it's not valid JSON that you have in the file?
Yes, like here.
Yeah.
But everything else, I'm glad that I made that mistake just to make sure that to share with you. It is very annoying about it. But of course, if you call a method that is not existent, tell you that too. But everything within the object, we can do whatever, and nothing. It's hard for you to know if this is an error or it's actually not returning anything. Let's see. For the nested objects, we got there's two ways. So either let's say a name is an attribute, and then within that name we have first name and last name. You can pass that object this way, and it will basically find all the objects that's first and last name is this and that. Or you can use the dot notation. So you can say first dot name dot first or name dot last is whatever. It will do the matching too. You can use, as we talked, lmatch to basically check for nested documents. So not just arrays, it could also work with nested documents. So in here, I'm interested to only get the comments. And by the way, when you apply apply the filters on nested documents, you're gonna get back the whole object back, not just the nested document. The whole object back. So if you apply it to only nested document, when this match or hit, you're returning the whole thing, the whole parent record, not just the inner one. So keep that in mind. So here I'm making a where clause or kind of a filter on comments, and then inside that comment I'm interested to only get where the comment is actually made by Joe, and he has a score more than 5. And I have to specifically use lmatch in here, because otherwise if I don't use it, I'm gonna get ones that could be author Joe, but not more than 5, or the opposite. So would be by using lmatch, I'm making sure that both are met, not just one. It will still work. If you don't use lmatch, it will still work, but the return will be different. The return will be more. You will get author Joe, but different kind of score, and then the score, but different author. Skips, limits, and sorts. You can similar to what we did in SQL. So in SQL, what did we how do we limit it with a number of records? Use limit, right? So use limit. The same thing here. We use function called limit, and we cascade. So find. You finish whatever you need to do with find, and then dot limit. This is what we call when we keep doing dots. This is what we call cascading. So we cascade and you pass a value. And then next, skip. So, and you can basically do both. Like you can limit and skip at the same time. So you can cascade as many as you want. So skip. What did we call it in SQL? Offset. So offset is to, in here it's called skip, to skip number of records. Sort, dot sort. So you pass dot sort. So you can cascade it too. So either you say dot sort, and you pass an object, and that object is what fields you want to sort by. So you say, I want to sort by username, and you pass either 1 or -1. I think so, yeah. It's a 1 or -1. A 1 for ascending and -1 for descending. Okay? So for example here, the username 1 and age -1. And the order matters, so don't just throw stuff in there in the object. You gotta put them in order because this is how the sort works. Questions? Is it this one easy, straightforward? You can, the same capabilities you have in SQL, you can have it in here. So far. All right, so insert, update, and delete. She got nice voice. I don't know, for some reason she makes me go faster. I don't know why. So if I'm going faster, it's because of her. All right, insert. That we got a lot of in find. So we cover find, which is the most basic thing. How to do where clause, is the select, the and then yeah, all kind of operator, the skip, the limits, and the sort. So now we insert, update, and delete. And if we get time, we'll do groups and aggregation.
Can you go over find again for some reason? What do you mean? I'm not really understanding why.
Can you finding what
Like,
way
just finding anything. Like it just doesn't.
Nothing?
I don't know. Like,
Do 2 for example instead of 6. Maybe there's no time. Okay, are you sure?
looking like.
Okay, are you sure you got this right in terms of spelling? No, activates. Is it right? Try now. Copy it. Oh, you're running this. No, you're running on different databases. You're running on test. Change this to
I got some like.
All right.
It's like
Quick break. All right. So test and insert, update, and delete. Insert. There's 2 functions here, guys. There's insert 1 and insert many. Very hard. So insert 1. So instead of find, we have insert function. So insert 1, and you pass the object you want to insert. That's it. Literally as that. Insert many, but instead of passing one object, you're passing an array. Alright, you're passing an array. Both of these, they will add an ID for you, underscore ID for you. You don't have to do anything. Okay. Insert many. And we have all windows closed, right? Can you close that window you have over there? Like, I don't know why her voice is entering the building somehow.
It's a spiritual.
Oh, here we go. You're not gonna listen to her anymore. She needs to take a break. Anyway, insert many. Take another parameter, which is basically to say if you want to run the insert in order or not in order. So by default it's true. That means it's going to run them in order. So if you're passing in 3 or 4 values, if one of them fail in the middle, it will stop. If you pass this as false, it will try to run them one by one, and then if one fails, it will continue. So the order will not be a situation here. So for example here in this one, so you got ID is 0, ID is 0, ID 1, ID 1, ID 2. This will fail if you just pass that by literally just this statement. Because the default is true, that means fail on stop on failure. If you pass a second parameter here with false option, it will basically run them in parallel, and it will fail. If one of them fails, nobody cares. Updates. Let me just do a quick insert. So here, DP, the listing, the updates one. I'm just gonna use update 1. Let's see. I don't know what to do with. Okay, bedroom 1. You can just do whatever. Bathroom 1. Amenities. I'm going to do with only TV. No, it's not update. It's insert. So that's created. Now if I go back, I don't know the ID, so I gotta find it. Well, I assume. So yeah, we'll do the sort too, by the way. Created dates, not sure. Yeah, dates. Let's do ID. There's no dates for me to find it, but we should be able to go to the end to find it right there. So that's the last one. It has an ID. That's a new ID that given. Everything else is unset. Unset. Unset is different than null, by the way. Like, keep that in mind. So if I try to return this, let's try to return it. So find. I can use the same ones. I think this is the only 2 that has been both. Well, no, not really. Alright, that's fine. But this is I think this is the last one, is it? No. It's okay. We'll go with that. So it's different than unset is different than null. So if this is returning as an object, it will not return all the object. The whole object will be very, very small. It will have only 4 attributes. It will have the ID, will have the bedrooms and bathrooms and amenities in there, and that's it. The other ones will not be returned. If they are null, they will be returned because that's kind of the value is there. But because I did not set it, that means that's a main difference actually between this and SQL. Because in SQL, if you don't pass it, it will be set as a null. But in here, it will not be set as a null. It will just not set. Okay, because there's no default, there's nothing. You don't define a schema, you don't give it, okay, what's the default or what's the standards. There's nothing like that. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go back and create a new one with a new attribute that is not existing here. So I'm gonna just use, I'm gonna just do another one, but a number of windows. So windows, I'm gonna do 10. So this does not exist at all. And now it's gonna exist. It's gonna exist. So it will be added here as one of the options, which is Windows. So if I refresh here, it should be added. So if I go over here and try to refresh, or I can search for it. Let's see, it's created, yes. So if I search for it now, oops. Okay, well let me do more. So I want to do when it's equal. Then exists false. Is it returning? Well, I'm doing insert. I'm not. Oh my god. I need to do. Here we go. If I just do 10 right there. So if you notice that now there's a windows in here, and if I return other ones, for example, bedrooms equal 1, I will have, for example, at the end you'll see, well, where is windows? Somewhere in here. I need to refresh it or something, it's not done.
I think it might just be a typo.
What?
It might just be a typo on Windows.
Oh, when you go. Still. Oh, maybe I misspelled it in the beginning. I maybe misspelled it in the beginning, but you get the idea. So it will, for some records, if it's set, it will return. Otherwise, it will not be set. It will not be returned at all unless it's set to null or certain values. So for updates, there will be two couple functions. One for update one, similar to insert one, and then update many. But this one, it will be slightly different because in insert, all you have to do is to pass an object. In here, you have to pass an object to specify the values that you want to update. I'm sorry, the records that you need to update. It's basically like a where clause. So the first thing here is the where clause, basically update where. So this, I need to update only the ones that, or all the records that match this criteria. So whatever you have in find, you will have in here. And then the next argument is you pass the what you need to change. So in here, I want to, and there's operator that we're gonna go over. But you can, for example, use set, or probably most popular. sets to set certain values or certain fields to a value. So for example, I want to set state to OR, for example. Or if you want to do an increment, you can use an increment to increment population by a certain value. So you can do a set, you can do an increment, or you can do unset, which is to remove it, to remove the field altogether. You can do more if you have an array. So if you have an array, you will need to push certain values. You can use push, or if you want, you can use push all or add to set. Add to set, as this mentioned here, it's very similar to add, but will not generate duplication. So updates, basically updates one for all the titles or the post with a title blah. Then I need to push to the comments this object right here. So I need to push the name, the email, and the content. So I'm pushing one value. If you I want to push multiple values, I can use push all. But that will take an array. You can also instead of just pushing, you can also removing from array. So it's like what we did. We just did kind of an increment, but what if it's an array? So if it's array, you can do either pull, that will pull everything that match values from the array, or pull all the values from the array, or you can pop only one value. So either the first one or the last one. So for example, if I have a to do, which is dishes, laundry, dry cleaning, and I try to do pull, and I say I need to remove to do, and to do I need to remove laundry, the laundry will be removed from the array and everything else will stay. If I do pop with either 1 or -1, it's going to remove either the dishes or the dry cleaning. So the -1 will remove from the beginning, which is dishes, and if I do 1, we're going to remove it from the end of the array, which is the dry cleaning. Deleting a document, also it has a function very similar to update and delete, which is delete one. So you can remove it. You can basically remove a document with a delete one, and that delete one you will pass a where clause. That where clause will tell you basically what records you want to delete. And then you can delete many by using delete many. I have an example here. So delete one, and then the ID of 4 that will delete this record right here. If you can delete many, so if you delete many, you don't pass anything. That means it's gonna delete the whole table or the whole collection, or you can use a drop to delete everything from the collection. So let's go back here to so I know that I created a lot of Windows ones. So let's delete them. We can delete them. Equal 10. I have a 3 in here. So if I need to delete, let me So those ones, well, let me do an update first. An updates, I'm sorry, listing, updates. We can do update many. Or let me just try one first. So now I want updates. I want to update. So it takes two, as we mentioned. So we need to first specify what do I need to what fields I need to find. So updates records. So I want to update all the ones that with Windows ID, and second I need to say what do I need to do with them. So you can set it or increment whatever you want to do. So you can set Windows to 20. Now if I go back here, if I refresh, I would not find that. There's 3, I updated 1, so I would not find that one. But if I do the 20, now it's 20. I can update the other ones, can still update the other ones to do an increment if I want. Increment by 1. So now I don't have 10 and two 10s anymore. I have only 1 10. And that one is 11 now. So the 20, let's delete the ones in the left is only 10. So all I have to do is just say delete 1, the ones with 10, because I know there's only 1. And we'll tell you, actually this will return back with saying if it's like acknowledged or deleted and how many is actually deleted. All right, index. You can do index. You can create index to efficiently query whatever you need to query, like SQL. So we talked about index. It supports having efficient execution. By default, there's an ID. There's an index on the underscore ID, so you don't have to do anything about it. To create an index, and you can do similar to what we did in SQL. You can do a single field index or compound index, field index, by using create index method. So create index will basically you gotta name the collection, whatever collection name is, and then you say create index, and then you mention what's the fields you want to apply the index on. So in this case, I want to do it on name, and I want to have that index in the for name and the descending order. Okay. The next one is compounding. It's just all you have to do is just you not pass one, not pass multiple. And you can name it too. So by default, by default will be name underscore -1 if you don't pass any name for it. But if you do pass a name for it, it will take that name. So you can have a compound one in here where I'm saying I need to buy item and I buy quantity, and I need to have them in 2 separate orders. Those are the 2 basic index. Definitely, there's many more indices that you can create, but those are the ones that we cover for SQL. I just want to make sure that we cover here too. right. Counts. I imagine that you're probably asking, well, how can we get a list of counts? Well, by using a function called counts document. They keep from one Mango version to another. They keep changing. This used to just be called count, and they changed it to count document. So if you try to use just count, it will fail. I actually discovered that just recently. So the count documents is to return the number of documents. You can do distinct too. So you can say listen reviews dot distinct, and you pass what the value you want to be distinct of. So you can say dp distinct, and I know it's not showing. Distinct. You can do distinct on, what's the, I mean, you can do bedrooms. So we'll give you all the options for, and of course, as we know, the distinct is distinct values. And then counts. Actually, let me try this. Yeah. So there's a count, but it tells you that this is a duplication warning. It's not gonna. They taken this away. And that's the count. All right. Well, last is aggregation. The aggregation. So there's a function called aggregation, and that aggregation actually what they call it aggregation pipeline, because you can actually run the aggregation in kind of as different stages. That's what pipeline is. Pipeline is like basically you passing things, and then you think certain actions or operation happen on the data along with inside the aggregation function. So you'll think about it as it's just pipeline. There's stages, and then the data comes in, get filtered or changed or whatever. It's passed into the next stage and passed into the second stage. So that's basically how the aggregation function works. There's a lot of aggregation functions that you can use. I have them all after this, but the pipeline runs in this order. So you have the match. Match is basically getting filtration. So you're getting the data in. You're saying, oh, from this data I'm getting, all I care about is the match ones. The match is a certain criteria, and then whatever output it goes to the group, and then whatever output it goes to the sort, and then skip and limit, and then the output will be passed back to you. So here's an example. So this is an aggregates of orders, for example. Aggregate is a function. You don't have to do all the stages. You can do just the group, but you can do more if you want. So in this example, I'm doing a match and a group. In a match, I'm passing, I want only the ones with the size medium. And then next, I want to group all of them by name and then sum the quantity. So sum is one of the aggregation function, and then the quantity is one of the fields. I'm returning this as a total quantity. That's a new field. Lots of functions. You can do sum, you can do average, you can do min, you can do max, you can do more than this. You can do first, you can do last, you can do other ones, but I just listed those fours in here. And simply you can just, again, you don't have to do all the match and the skip and inside the aggregation function, but it's a capability that you can have. But in minimum, you can have just group. You can group by whatever that you want to pass in the ID, and then what's the function that you want to pass or to execute or to run. So here I'm averaging the number of likes. I'm returning the minimum number of links, likes, whatever you want to do. And again, I'm just doing that for all. I'm not filtering anything. So you can, because sometimes you say I wanna do aggregation, but I wanna filter first. So you do that through the aggregation function, not through the find. And then whatever you pass in the find could be whatever in the match, by the way. So that's just, I'm trying to just make the connection here, so you know what this means. I have an example here that I wrote just before the class. So here I have an aggregation function that will basically match and only give me only the listing that has 2 beds. So that's gonna give me something, and then I'm going to group by the property type, because I have a limited number here, or good number. Oops. Oh my God, this is the first time. So I have a list of, for example, like a property type. I'm gonna group by them, and I'm going to sum the accommodations they have for each property type. But I'm only doing that for the properties that they have 2 beds only. So when I run this is what it's gonna give me. I'm doing this by property type, similar to what we did with SQL, and this is the total, which is the sum of the accommodation. If I don't do a filter, a match, I can easily not do that, but you're gonna see the numbers going to higher because you're not filtering anything now. So you're gonna see probably more options too, and more type, and then the numbers are high just because now you're grouping everything by property type and you're summing by something. All right, any questions? I know that was a lot, like literally a lot, I know. Any questions? So we talked about Mango, like kind of everything that you can use every day. The query, the update, the inserts, the deletes, the index, the group, all the kind of operations. And sorts and all the other ones. Of course, filter. So we will have an assignment on this. They will basically writing queries in this database. Okay, so writing queries just to practice Mango's all kind of like examples that we just covered. All right, the slides, I'll have the slides. The slides that we have today is not 100% updated. I'm gonna get it updated to have the reference for it. Your friends for reference is definitely the MongoDB database documentation. They have a great documentation. Actually, I use some of the examples from their website in my slide because they have a great documentation. So always, if I miss anything, or don't know how to run it, or forgot how to run this statement, just refer to it definitely. That's your friend because it's always updated. My slide is not gonna be updated next year or whatever. They're gonna release new updates. All right. Well, I'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Rob.